All right, welcome back. And in the last episode, we learned how to build the bed. In the episode before that, we learned how to build the stable. We're going to continue with this building thing. And what we should do is we should build this inventory box. So I got an inventory box. And the way it's going to work is I got two pieces to it, a box and a top. And I got the top so that the pivot point can open and close the box. So first thing what we need to do, we're going to build this one a little different than these. First thing we're going to do is we're going to build this inventory box because this whole box is going to have its own blueprint. So let's make the inventory box and make it have its own blueprint. So first thing you need to do is go to your third person, go to your blueprints, go to your assets. All right, where's the inventory box? Here it goes. All right, so let's put a blueprint in this box. Blueprint, an actor, and we're going to call it inventory box underscore BP. Okay, now for this we need two static meshes. So add a static mesh and add another static mesh. And it's good that this static mesh is parented to this one. So this one's going to be the base. So all we have to do is find that base, which is right here. And this one is going to be the top. So find the top, which is right here. And I'll plug that in. Okay, now the inventory box is there. On the default scene, I'm going to add a arrow just so it's pointed in the right direction. So for me, the whole inventory box is pointed in the wrong direction. So what I'll do is just rotate it. Rotate it so it's pointed in the correct direction. That's where that arrow comes in handy. You can even delete the arrow after that. I don't need it anymore. Anyways, now what we need to do is we need to make sure that this inventory box, it can interact with the player because the top will be able to come open like that. And so that's what we want to happen. So in order for that to happen, we need to go to the class settings and add the interaction interface. Interaction interface right there. Boom. And if you didn't see how we've made that interaction interface, it's in some like older videos. Anyways, now that we got this box working, when the player interacts with it, it should open the box and then open the inventory screen. So what we'll do is we'll open the box. So this piece right here needs to rotate in. Let me show you. It has the green, red, and the blue. This is green, so that means Y. Rotate in the Y to negative 100. From 0 to negative 100. So let's make an interaction event. Or let's just make a custom event real quick. Custom event. Open / close. Or just open close box. Because this will handle both opening and closing it. So what we want to do is we want to get this static mesh, which is static mesh 1. And what you want to do is relative rotation. So it's going from 0 to negative 100 in the Y. Well, the relative rotation, since it's relative, 0 should stay the same and 0 should stay the same. It's not rotating anywhere. So let's do interact, event interact, and we're going to say open close box. Open close box. We've only handled the opening part, not the closing. So let's see if that even works. But let's put on the original box here, let's put a box collision so that we can come inside that box collision. And we need to move it over here, move it right in front of it. So this will be when the player can interact with the box. I mean, even if the player comes up and touches the box, they'll still be able to interact with it. But I want them to be able to interact with it from ways away. So let's do that. And lastly, let's check and see if that even works. So I'm going to drop one of these into the level right here. And let's see how it works. He needs some light in his house for sure. It's pretty dark in here. We walked up to the box and it opens. So it just snaps it there. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if we can fix that snapping part. Is there a way? Duh, there's a way. Excuse me. Duh, there's a way. But also, the static mesh, its location, it said it's at 0, but it wasn't at 0. So you can fix that location here. I'm gonna fix mine just so it's sitting somewhere around that 0 mark. Anyways, the add relative rotation. We're going to remember that relative rotation, but we're going to say move component. Move component 2. And in order to do this, we need to get the relative rotation again. So relative rotation, negative 100. Negative 100. And all the rest of the stuff stays the same. So let's get relative location. And plug that into the location there. So it doesn't move at all. It only rotates. And then you can have it rotating over a certain amount of time. So this is 0.2. Let's say just like maybe 0.75 or maybe just 1 second so you can see it for real. And we'll ease it in and out so to make it more smooth. Compile and save. And let's see if that works. Scrap wood. There it goes. That's smooth as we want it. Now we need to close it back. All right, so back into your blueprint. Let's go ahead and close it back. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to put a flip-flop, and then just copy that same stuff up above. Copy all of this, copy and paste. And instead of moving it to negative 100, let's say get relative rotation. Get relative rotation. And then we're going to say minus 100. So split that in the Y. And split the relative rotation up down here and just plug in the Y. Force the shortest path right here. So maybe it'll go straight down instead of doing all of this rotating around. How about I just plug in the X and plug in the Z also? Hopefully that'll fix it and we'll move on. Open, close, open, close. Perfect, that fixed it, and now we can move on. So the next part that we need to do is when it does open up, we need to create some kind of widget that pops up. So here, let's go ahead and also on the open right here, we're going to say create a widget. So create widget. We don't have a widget that we're going to create yet. So we need to create that widget. But before we do that, let's just add to viewport and let's create the widget. So the widget that we're going to create is very, very similar to the items HUD. Maybe we could just use the same inventory HUD and we'll just add a button here that says store, right? So what happens is we'll bring up the inventory HUD on the, let's say inventory HUD. Wait, which? Oh, items HUD is what it's called. My bad. Okay. Now what that's going to do is bring up our items HUD. And in our items HUD, I believe as soon as you do open it, it's going to get all widgets of class. You remove your status HUD. Then it's going to get your player character, show the mouse cursor, and set the game to game in UI. So that's perfect. On your items HUD though, is there an X button? there's not an X button. So we need to make an X button. So in the top left or the top bottom right, mine's in the bottom right, anchor it to the bottom right. I'm gonna make a red button. And I'm just gonna put some text on it and the letter X. This way the player can click out of here and it'll close the widget. That's what we're gonna set up there. Compile and save. All right, let's test and see if the inventory box comes up. The inventory widget comes up. Perfect. Now, when inventory is true, this next button needs to be visible. Oh yeah, we didn't set the code to close it down yet. But all right, so let's do that. So in this box here, we're going to set a variable for the player that inventory is true. So for the third person character, go over here to the blueprint and add a new variable. The new variable is going to be called inventory allowed question mark. Compile and save. When they go into the inventory box, which we don't have any code on it yet, so click on that box in the inventory box, and this is the box collision, and say on component overlap, and the other actor is going to be third person character. When they overlap that box, we need to set that set inventory allowed to true. And when they stop overlapping the box, we need to set the inventory allowed to false. So just copy everything from above and paste it below and set it to false. Okay. Now, if inventory box is allowed, then in the items HUD, what we need to do is make this visible, this button here. And on this button, I'm just going to drop some text that says store. Store item, maybe. Right? I don't know. Maybe we'll get more creative than that. But you could just copy that text right here. Copy. Click on the other button you want to paste it on and paste it. Paste it. So it's going to be really quick and easy to paste it. Just paste it on all the buttons. All right. Anyways, on this button here, we need to go down to the visibility. Right now it says hidden, but we need to bind the visibility. So click on bind and we're going to create a binding. And this time we need to go to our third person character. So we have a reference to that, I believe. Third person character, get, and then get off that inventory. We need to see if this is true or not. So get inventory allowed, put a branch. If inventory allowed is true, then we need to make this box visible. If it's not, copy and paste the return node and make it hidden. Cool. So now you can save that, compile and save. And so if they're in the inventory box, this button right here should be visible. So make each one of those have that same binding. And if you don't know what the binding is called, you can actually rename the binding. This one's called get visibility 0. Let's rename that. So up here in your functions to the left, it's called get visibility 0. Let's right click it and rename it to hide store. All right, perfect. Compile and save. This is going to make it easier for us to find it. So each one of these buttons that we click on the visibility, just go down to, instead of hidden, click the binding and say hide store. Okay. That way all the buttons will be invisible until we're in the inventories. So let's check that out and make sure that's working. And then at the end of this, we'll just add the code in, at least one of the codes for to add something to the inventory box. So let's go here, open it up, boom, open up our inventory. And now we can see that these buttons are visible. Of course, I haven't done this one yet. All right, so what we'll do is a part 2, because this is getting so long. Part 2 will be adding the code to the inventory box and just like spicing it up, and also allowing us to build the inventory box before it even becomes usable. So let's go ahead and do the last part of this, which would be what I just said, which I can't fucking remember. Oh. All right, the last part of the inventory box that we're going to do today is let's close it down. So on this red button, on-clicked right here, this should close down the inventory box. So actually remove from parent. And also get player character or get player controller. And we're going to set it to set game mode or set show mouse cursor to false. Set input mode to game only. Boom. That should really do it. That should do its justice right there. It removes it off the screen, sets the input mode to game only, and takes the mouse off. So we open it up. Close it. All right, so what we should also do, sorry y'all, is when you do press the X button, it should also close that box, right? Wouldn't that be cool? I would think so. So let's open up the thing one more time. And so on clicked, let's cast that box, whatever that box is called, inventory box. So get all actors of class, inventory box, get the one that's in the level. Oh, just get, sorry. And then once you do get it, what we want to happen is we want it to close. So right here and say close box, which we don't have it separated. So go to your inventory box and let's separate it. Instead of open and close the box, let's just separate the two. So take the flip-flop off, because this is not the way it'll work. And change this one to say open the box. And then we're going to make a new one, custom event, and it's going to say close box. All right. So the open the box is already coded up. We've already done the event interact. It's going to open the box. But right here on our get, we'll just say close box. And now the inventory box should close once we press the X button. So it opens up our menu here. We press the X button and the inventory box closes. How smooth is that? Beautiful. That's part 1. Cool. I'm glad that y'all joined me in the inventory box part 1. We will do part 2 in the next episode. So hope you learned something. I'll holla at you next time. Peace.
Run to the money, on the feet, don't fail. The DA and the judge wanna do their best to jail. I done turned it all.